They have the green flag and they're on. Okay, Paul Cosner and Satisfaction's pulling way out in front along with Jerry Jacoby and Ajax Hawk. Coming up in third is Apache with Michelob Light out in the far distance in fourth place. Fifth place is going to be Rampage, sixth place Fast Company, and that's all we can say at this point. Satisfaction is still pulling way out in front at this point. Coming out in front of Ajax Hawk, Apache, and Michelob Light. We're coming in on Ajax Hawk, who's going to try and catch up with Satisfaction right now. He and Apache are running neck and neck here. Also along out in the distance is Betty Cook and Michelob Light. We've got Rampage coming up on the right-hand side. Rampage is coming up. He's going to start to pass Apache, and it's going to keep up here with Ajax and Apache, who are trying to catch up with Satisfaction, which is now way out in the lead. Right now here we've got Ajax, Hawk, Rampage, and Apache. They're trying to catch up with Betty Cook, who's now pulling out in the lead along with Satisfaction. With Betty Cook and Michelob Light out in first place, Ajax Hawk in second, Rampage in third, Satisfaction in fourth, and Apache now moving up on Satisfaction. We don't know what happened to Satisfaction, but he's now about to get pushed back into fifth place by Apache, who's making the move at this point. Betty Cook still trying to catch up to Ajax Hawk, although she's a little bit farther back and she seems to be falling back a little. We can't tell whether Betty's just taking it a little easy or whether Jerry's pushing it down a little more, trying to keep out ahead. Hey, this is the first time Betty Cook has been carrying the Michelob Light banner. They changed their colors just for this race, and it looks like Betty Cook's going to be sailing with the Michelob Light team for the rest of this year. Betty, this race, is back into her Scarabs. We haven't seen Betty in her Scarab for a while. She normally has been racing one of the cat boats, although we understand she's coming back into this because of the nice rough water out here. Betty also has a nice new Betty has a new cat boat coming out that's going to be made by Thunderbird, although we haven't seen that yet. Her Scarab seems to be running very well this race. We understand it's about a 92 mile an hour. She's going out pretty well. And we're coming around West End. Jerry Jacoby's still out in the lead. Oh, Betty Cook's pretty close behind. They're still way out in front of all the rest of the fleet here at this point. Okay, Betty Cook here is trying to give Jerry Jacoby a good race for the first place part. Betty Cook and Jerry Jacoby are right almost neck to neck for first place, although Jerry's got about 100 yards on her. Jerry's out a little bit in front of Betty Cook. He's going to try and keep this together and keep it out in front of her just for the rest of the race. Betty's going to push to catch up to Jerry at this point. Either Betty or Jerry seem to be going extremely fast, or at least as fast as we'd expect at this point along the line. We don't know whether they're just trying to keep themselves together or whether the weather on this leg of the race is just a little too much. Okay, Betty's starting now to pull up on Jerry Jacoby. She's going to try and get into the lead here at this point. She doesn't want to stay in anybody's... They obviously have some sort of a prop problem. They're taking off the prop. They're going to probably try and put a new one on and see whether they can make it back into the race. But right now, Ajax Hawk is now well out into the lead, is making up for the problems that he had earlier on today. Okay, we're going to try and catch up here now with our leader, see how much distance there is between Betty Cook and Apache, and whether Apache's got about a 30 mile an hour advantage on Betty Cook, can catch up to her. Apache's closing quickly on Betty Cook and Michelob Light. Betty has one drive out of the water with the prop off it, so she's obviously going to have a lot of problems, and Apache's going to just move right past her. Betty Cook, however, has been going inside the reef. Now we don't... Betty, however, I'm sure has found it's a lot smoother in there. Betty is running in first place right now, but Apache is coming up very quickly. Betty Cook has one drive out of the water. She's running on only about one engine, only doing about 50 knots here, 45, maybe 50 knots. She's not doing too well. Oh, she's run a very good race and still has second place tied up. Hey, we've got Apache in far distance here, catching up on Betty Cook and Michelob Light. Okay, we're coming up here on Apache. Apache's now starting to blast past Betty Cook on her one drive, and he's going out to first place. Okay, here we go. Okay, now Apache's now in first place. Now he doesn't know that Betty's only got the one drive, but knows she's in trouble. Here comes Apache now. Is coming up towards the finish line. Clear commanding lead for first place. He's coming across. He's going to get the checkered flag, and they're going to win this race. Okay, here comes Apache. He's got the checkered flag. He's got it right there. Okay. Hey. Coming in second place, just shortly behind Apache. Michelob Light coming in second on only one engine. What a race.